Kristen, what is going on here? Why haven't you cleaned the stairs yet? They're filthy! I just walked by them now, and every single step had dust bunnies on them. Listen, Kristen, those stairs are more than just stairs. They're a passage that connects your unit to ours. Without them, how would you come downstairs to see us? If you're allowing these stairs to get so dirty, the only possible conclusion I can draw is that you feel the same way about your relationship with us. It's clear that you need lessons on how to be a respectable homemaker. Come down right now and I'll teach you how to clean properly.
Mom? I think you should be able to tell just by looking at my massively expanded stomach that I am quite late in my pregnancy. And having given birth yourself, you should also be very well aware that at this late stage of pregnancy, some activities, cleaning the stairs, for example, are quite difficult for the mother.
Ha! You're not going to get out of doing your work with those miserable excuses. I managed to keep the house clean while I was pregnant for both Tony and Mina. That's the difference between you and me. I understand the concept of duty and perseverance, and you would prefer to just laze around all day. If I could do it 30 years ago, you can do it today. No excuses, Kristen. Now hurry up, grab the vacuum cleaner, and meet me at the base of the stairs this instant.
Mom. But not half an hour ago you made me go to the supermarket to pick up groceries for you. Did you forget about that by any chance?
What?
It's a 10-minute walk down to the store empty-handed, and since I'll be carrying bags on my way back, physically it will be quite difficult for me to do much of anything other than carry the groceries home this instant.
Oh, I suppose you're right.
Now, if there's nothing else you need from me at the moment, could I get back to finishing up the grocery shopping? You're also making me cook dinner for you tonight, so the longer I take to finish up here, the later dinner is going to get.
Well, fine, go ahead.
Thank you for your understanding.
Hello there, Kristen. I'm just letting you know that Mina will be moving back in with us tomorrow.
Really? That's odd. I don't remember hearing from her for quite some time now. Why is she moving back here? Did something happen?
Oh, it's all quite ridiculous. Her mother-in-law and husband were dreadful to her, so they got divorced.
Oh my goodness, a divorce?
Yes, I was just as surprised as you are. Her first message to me in 2 years, and it's to tell me she's getting divorced. I'll bet that awful mother-in-law of hers drove her away with her constant nagging and badgering. My poor, sweet little Mina.
Ah, yes, I can imagine how awful it would be to have a nagging, badgering mother-in-law.
In any case, it is what it is. Your assignment for the afternoon is to clean Mina's room from top to bottom. I don't want a single speck of dust left in there, understand?
What? I have to clean her old room?
Well, of course you do. She's moving back in, isn't she? She'll be needing her old room again, and I want it to be as clean as possible for her when she arrives. Remember, she's still recovering from the emotional struggle of her divorce. Make sure you clean it properly.
I hate to be so direct, but I would really appreciate it if you and Mina could clean the room by yourselves. With the two of you on it, it shouldn't take very long.
Excuse me? Haven't you seen the weather report? There's a massive cold front on the way. I'm not going to break my back cleaning in freezing weather. You need to do it before it gets too cold.
Mom, my baby's due date is less than a month away right now. That room hasn't been cleaned in 2 years, so it's going to be a pretty major undertaking in order to get it all cleaned up. Not to mention, I'm concerned about what sort of dust, mold, and that sort of thing could be in there.
I don't believe you. Are you honestly trying to use that same excuse to get out of doing your work again? So what if your due date is so close? I deigned to allow you to marry into this family, Kristen. Don't you forget that. I won't let you repay my magnanimity with this utterly contemptible scorn. This is your responsibility, Kristen. This is what you signed up for. Don't think that I'll let you get away with this reprehensible behavior just because my son, your husband, is overseas on business at the moment. As long as you live in my house, you will live under my rules.
This is ridiculous. Are you really so determined to refuse to admit that pregnancy, especially late-term pregnancy, places genuine physical restrictions on a mother's physical activity?
Are you really so determined to refuse a direct order by the mother of your husband? When I married my husband, I was decent enough to know my place and obey his mother.
I have no idea, nor do I wish to know, what sort of relationship you had with your mother-in-law. But regardless of how things were for you back then, nothing that happened to you would give you the right to treat the wife of your own son in this way. I am sorry, but as a mother, I have a sacred duty to prioritize the health and well-being of the baby inside of me right now. The baby could be born at any time right now, and in all honesty, it's rather appalling that you would be so insistent on demanding so much physical labor from me while I'm in this condition.
How dare you!
I will not clean Mina's old room. End of conversation. Goodbye.
Kristen, what on earth are you doing? I haven't seen you all afternoon, and when I go up to your room, what do I find? You've put a lock on the door to your room? Who do you think you are? Is this the thanks I get for trying to make you into a respectable wife? What did that boy ever see in you? Well, when he gets back from his business trip, I think I'm going to have a long, serious talk with him about your future in this family. For the time being, come out of your room this instant. Don't think you can hide from me in that room all day. You will obey your mother-in-law. That's an order. If I have no other choice, I'll simply have to break the lock with a hammer or something. Ugh, what did I do to deserve such a troublesome daughter-in-law? Kristen! Kristen, I know you're there. You can't ignore me like this. Mina's going to be home any minute now. I order you to get out of your room this very instant. I mean it. Oh, and one other thing. The weather report said that we'll be getting an extremely heavy snowstorm starting this evening into tomorrow morning. And thanks to you slacking off on your duties to me, I haven't had anything to eat for breakfast or lunch. Do you know what I'm going to have to do now? Go down to the convenience store to buy food for myself and Mina. Do you understand the lows you have forced me to stoop to? What if I get food poisoning? When you come out of there, bring your wallet with you. You're going to be the one paying for this, plus interest. You truly dreadful girl. If this is the kind of daughter-in-law you are, I'm utterly terrified for your poor child's future. Unlike you, however, I'm not one to give up. I will straighten you out, Kristen. I will transform you into a real wife and mother like myself, no matter what it takes. Oh no, look at what you've done. It's already starting to snow. I can't believe this. I put on my normal shoes when I left the house because I thought the snow wouldn't start until this evening. I could fall and hurt myself on the way home. Food for 2 people is so heavy, I'm completely exhausted. How could you do this to me, Kristen, after all I've done for you? And what's worse is Mina just told me she'll be at the house any second. I'll bet she was absolutely devastated when I told her that you were being a lazy bum and hadn't cleaned her room yet. It almost brings me to tears just thinking about it. But even through her devastation, she still managed to muster up the courage to say, "It's all right, Mom, I can do it myself." I may have had no luck with a daughter-in-law, but at least my real daughter appreciates me. Well, just you wait, Kristen. You've gone too far with your disrespect this time. You're going to be punished for this, and I know exactly how to punish you. Kristen, what is the meaning of this? I just got home a moment ago. And now I see that you are still holed up in your room? Unbelievable. Mina's already in the house. Don't pretend you didn't notice. You have to have heard her come in. Have you no common decency? Come out here and say hello to her. How long are you going to continue ignoring my messages, Kristen? You haven't even read any of them yet. Don't bother trying to tell me that you don't have your phone. I won't believe such silly lies. Oh, you will regret this disrespect, Kristen. I'll make sure of that. Well then, hopefully this will teach you a lesson about respect. Just be grateful that I allowed you to stay in the shed in order to keep you out of the snow. While you're out there tonight, maybe think twice about ever disrespecting me again. My goodness, that was quite the snowstorm last night, wasn't it? I just came out to the shed to check on you. But, dear me, looks like the shed collapsed under the weight of the snow. I'm sorry, is that inconvenient pregnant belly of yours keeping you from getting up? My goodness, it was satisfying watching you squirm out there.
What? Mom, what are you talking about? I just now saw that you had lit up my phone with notifications and I had a really bad feeling about what was going on, but I'm not at the house right now. I went to my folks' house across town yesterday.
Ha! You're not fooling anyone. I just saw you squirming and crying, half buried under the snow in the shed. Well, it's clear you haven't learned your lesson yet. I was thinking about coming to help you, but if you're still intent on lying to me, you can stay out there for a few more hours.
Ask yourself, if I was outside, half buried in snow right now, how would I be talking to you on my phone like this?
What?
That shed was pretty old, so it doesn't surprise me in the least that the snow last night would have crushed it, but again, if there is someone out there squirming around in the snow like you say, it's not me.
What?
I think you might want to take one more look out there to see who it really is.
Why, Kristen, why didn't you come back to the house yesterday?
Ah, so it would seem that the person buried in the snow was actually Mina, huh? The neighbors called me a bit ago. They said that they were concerned when an ambulance showed up at the house, sirens blaring.
Well, what was I supposed to think? It was your room, the door was locked, and you weren't answering my messages. How was I supposed to know that Mina was the one asleep in there? Any rational person would have assumed it was you.
Her room still hadn't been cleaned, right? Did you think she was just going to lay right down on top of 2 years' worth of dirt and dust?
But how did she get into your room? The door was locked.
Oh, I have a pretty good guess. Back before she got married and moved out, Mina had a nasty habit of going into my room and taking my things without permission, so eventually I got tired of it and put a lock on the door. Then, after a while of having the door locked, one day my things started vanishing mysteriously once again, so I figured she must have made a copy at some point. I caught her using it once and took it away from her, but I guess she must have had a spare too.
That's beside the point. This is all because you went to your parents' house yesterday.
I know, isn't that an incredible coincidence?
How can you laugh at a time like this?
While I do feel bad for poor Mina, you have to admit it's pretty ironic. But you should also be grateful it wasn't me. If it were me out there rather than Mina, there's no way that both me and the baby would have come out of this okay. And you would have had some pretty serious consequences on your hands.
But why didn't you tell me you weren't coming home yesterday?
I spoke to you on my way out the door, don't you remember?
What?
2 nights ago, I messaged Tony and told him all about the terrible way you've been treating me while he's been overseas, and asked him what he thought I should do. He told me that I should get out of the house for now and go stay with my parents. I called them up right after that, and they came to pick me up yesterday morning. They were planning on at least stopping inside to make an effort to be polite and say hello. But I thought that if you found out what I was doing, you would go berserk and do anything and everything you could to stop me from leaving. So I told them to wait in the car and that I would tell you they said hello.
Wait, was this while I was watching TV?
It was indeed. So let's recap, shall we? Mina has gained so much weight in the course of her 2 years of being a total freeloader at her now ex-husband's house that you mistook her for a very pregnant me. And without even bothering to check for sure who it was, you threw her into the shed. Did I miss anything? Oh, that's right. The neighbors told me that they had talked to the paramedics who told them that the reason Mina couldn't get herself out of the snow was because she dislocated her hip when you threw her into the shed.
How can this be happening?
And come to find out that the real reason for Mina's divorce was actually because she was constantly verbally abusive towards her mother-in-law while her husband was away at work.
That apple sure didn't fall very far from the tree. That can't be true! You're lying!
No, it's true. Call her ex yourself. In any case, I suppose I'll let you get back to looking after Mina while she's recovering.
Ah, that's right. You need to hurry up and get back here so you can take care of Mina while she's recovering.
I'll pass. My baby will be born any moment now, so I plan on doing some well-deserved rest and relaxation until the big day comes.
You can't do that!
I have already talked to both Tony and my parents about this, and we're all in agreement that this is the best course of action for everyone involved.
But what about me?
Correction. The best course of action for everyone involved, except you.
Kristen, I need you over here now. I can't look after Mina. I'll miss my shows.
I started getting contractions about 5 days after that incident, and it just so happened that my husband Tony got back in town from his business trip just in time for him to be in the delivery room with me for the birth. We are now the happy and proud parents of a healthy baby boy. Meanwhile, in stark contrast to our happiness over the birth of our child, my mother-in-law is neck-deep in serious trouble. Mandatory reporting laws meant the hospital contacted the police, and after a very quick investigation, she was hauled off in the back of a police car. So, while Mina was discharged from the hospital a few days later with a clean bill of health, my mother-in-law is now looking at building a criminal record. Tony and I talked it over, and we decided that considering how things have been going at his mom's house, we would make our temporary stay at my parents' house a permanent one. With her husband giving her the boot, her brother moving out of the house, her mother moving into a jail cell, and her father having already passed away, Mina realized that there was now no one she could mooch off of. One day I got a not-so-subtle text from her asking if she could stay with us at my folks' place for a few days. My quick-thinking husband told her that she could stay as long as she would agree to become a live-in maid for us and my parents. She left his message unread, and we haven't heard from her since.
Hi, Elijah. Do you have a moment to talk? Yes, but is it important? It's after hours now, and I'm spending time with my family. Well, if you expect us as your employees to put in overtime, then you should also be willing to answer our messages after work. That's fair enough. Is everything okay? Please check your email. Alright. You're getting married? That's fantastic. I'm happy for you. Yes, I wanted to invite you to my wedding on Saturday. Why so soon? We're very in love. Well, I can't comment on your relationship, but I'm sure that you made the right decision. I'm sorry, I'll be unable to attend the wedding as I have meetings with important investors. But you'll not have to worry about those meetings. What do you even mean? Look at who I'm getting married to. Kelsey? Do I know her? Do you not know your own sister, Kelsey? One of the owners of the company? But she doesn't own anything. but things can change just like that. I just wanted to tell you that once Kelsey and I get married, we'll be changing many things about the company. Some people aren't happy with leadership, therefore we might replace you with a worthy candidate. Me. And what makes you think you can do that? It's my company. But I know everything. Your family still owns part of the company. Everyone knows it, and they're integral for most of the decisions in the company. Who told you that? I know that they own 80% of the shares. They've been letting you run everything while they just show up for show. I bet now you're wondering why you cut off your sister and your family, are you not? It's not that easy to get control of the company. I just need to get you removed. You will, of course, have the next week or so to say goodbye. You still have a 20% stake. Don't worry. Maybe it's time that you retire. You're nearly 50 now. I know that my sister and I have never seen eye to eye, but to marry you? You saw me as a lowly employee, right? But I'm not. Oh, and if you're thinking about warning your sister, she's in love with me. We have everything planned. You can't just take away what I've built for the past 15 years. So, this is what you do?
For 15 years, I've let you have free reign.
I've been doing what's best for this family.
You've been trying to get rid of us.
Believe me, even though we're not a family anymore, I've never let business suffer.
You've been defeated. See, I might not have the experience to run the business, but I have my fighter, my Desmond.
He's using you. All he wants is money.
Everyone wants money, brother. At least now I have your attention.
Does Mom know about this?
Come to the wedding and find out on Saturday.
Over my dead body, you're nothing to me.
Better start begging.
You shouldn't do this. He'll run the company into the ground.
I guess we'll have to see. I told you, my brother, the hostile takeover worked, and now you're out. I hope you've packed all your stuff.
Why would you do this to me? I'm your brother.
You've not been a good brother to me for over 12 years.
How was I a bad brother? After I made sure that you finished college and had a good job, you just couldn't be happy for me when I decided to get married.
You got married to her. You knew how much I hated her. You knew what kind of job she did.
She had changed. I've been with my wife for 15 years now. She's given me a beautiful daughter, and she supports me.
She is not educated. How could you break our family tradition like that? Dad would be rolling in his grave. It doesn't matter. Leave.
Hi, I left some files in the safe with our best practices if you need them. The code is 2781. How do I know that you're not sabotaging me? I would never do that. Everything I do for the company. You say that, but I don't believe you. Please treat the company well. I bet you can't believe that the shareholders voted you out so easily. I told you, my wife made sure that I have everything I need. I just hope that you know what you're doing. Yes, of course I know what I'm doing. Focus on retiring. Hey, where are you? I've been trying to contact you for days. You're not at your house. Hey, what do you need? Oh, and if you want to apologize to Kelsey, then you should take her out and buy her prawns. Wait, you probably don't even have the money for prawns. You knew about this. I did try to help you out with the best practices. It's not my fault you went into overdraft. Do you have a spy in this company? No, but let me tell you the truth. That you gave me a company that's bankrupt and now I'm in debt? I had already bought her a house with the money that I saved up. I was supposed to be rich now, richer than you. I hired all the best experts to take this business to the top. Calm down, brother-in-law. Let me tell you the truth. If you had taken over 7 years ago, you would have no cash flow problems. But see, I expanded the company with my own capital, created a side company with a higher profit margin. And then I absorbed the company that used to be my father's. It's my front. Everyone knows me as the CEO, but they don't know that the bigger company which owns that one is mine. And do you know how much it is worth? How much? Less than 100K in assets. Everything else, that building, the employees, etc., they belong to my company. So your family only has 80K? But what about the dividends they get? I sent them all the financial reports as people who are part of the company. It's not my fault they haven't read them. Ask Kelsey for the reports. So, this whole time, You made me think this company was valued at $50 million? You're the one who guessed it when you hacked into my computer. How'd you know that? How do you think I've gotten where I am today? My computers are all secure. When you joined the company and then started asking around about my sister, I kept an eye on you. I know that you sold your brother's expensive car to buy her that 10-carat ring. You wowed her and made her think that you could provide for her. Take a while to process it. Oh, and you're in debt. The bank will start seizing your assets soon.
I kicked him out of my house.
Why?
Because he lied to me about who he was, and he ran the company to the ground.
So, what do you want from me now?
To apologize for all that was said.
I don't think that there is anything more for us to say to each other.
You really don't trust me.
Why are you wondering?
I'll prove to you that I can be trusted. Please come for dinner.
I can't. My wife and my daughter aren't in town at the moment.
You don't have to come with them.
And that would be very convenient for you so that you don't have to see them.
Well, I'm just saying that maybe we should just take things slow.
Okay, fine. I'm coming to your house. See you soon.
Be here at 8.
5 days later. Why would you do this to me?
Do this to you? I told you that your wife isn't a good person, and I helped you.
How could you help me when you've told the whole world that my daughter isn't mine?
Oh, please don't flatter yourself. The whole world isn't a town with a population of under 1 million. So what if your share prices drop? You always bounce back.
Why do you have to involve my whole family when they're not even part of this?
Because you involved my family. I've been in the shadows my whole life. Our family has because you chose that woman over us. How does it feel to know that she carried another man's child? Was it from her previous job?
For the millionth time, she was never a lady of the night. She worked in a gentleman's club, and I knew that my daughter isn't my blood daughter. Now she has to find out through a gossip column.
You played with fire. Don't even try denying it. I got your DNA sample when you came for dinner at my house. I wonder how anyone would look at you now that all your dirty secrets are out. It's quite the scandal. How are you going to get out of this one, little rabbit?
You've won.
I'll only know that I've won when you sign over everything to me. Otherwise, things will only get worse for you. Next time, it might not be a secret that we reveal. We might force you to hand everything over.
If you dare touch my wife and kids. Time's ticking. Just retire and give us what we want, or we will reveal more of your secrets. Check the link that I've just sent you. Wait, I thought your wife cheated on you. She didn't cheat on me, but thank you so much for making my business public knowledge. I told the journalists the truth, that we used a sperm donor to get our child. Now I gained everyone's sympathy and support. You and your wife look bitter. Even the investors will not want to work with you. That's it. Watch your back. This is no longer funny. What do you mean? You said a threat to my wife. What's stupid? I did not. Hypothetically speaking, I have some old friends in the cartel who would be interested in working with you. I'm sending all our texts to the police. I'm tired of your threats. You and my sister will never stop. I have no idea what you're talking about. Where are my wife and daughter? I have no idea what you're talking about, but it would be a bad idea to call the police. I'll give you whatever you want. Someone's gonna come into your office with papers for you to sign everything over to me. I'm assuming that's my sister? Yes, she's served me well. She's the best ex-wife in the world. What do you mean by best ex-wife? I'm gonna divorce her as soon as all this is within my name. Please don't take away everything that I've worked hard for. This is my daughter's. Don't smooth talk me like that. You will sign the papers, and then I'll tell you where your wife is. Fine. Why'd you say I must text you when you're right in front of me?
You could have cameras. I know you're always one step ahead. Sign the papers and hand them over to me.
You know, he doesn't love you. He wooed you with money that's not his.
I don't believe anything you say, you snake.
You've always been toxic, and I allowed you, but if leaving an emotionally draining family is considered to be betrayal, then good riddance.
Sign the papers. Oh, and brother?
What?
You might want to call the doctor. Maybe you'll make it in time.
What do you mean?
Remember the wine they sent to all the board members earlier? It contains nuts, which you're allergic to.
But I feel perfectly fine.
In case your ghost haunts me, we didn't kidnap your wife and daughter. They're safely at your house. Guess you were too panicked to check.
You snake.
You mean the owner of the whole company? Good night, my brother.
Where's my wife? And where are my papers? If you two double-crossed me, then you'll meet your maker. I don't know if you're immune to peanuts, but I was sure that you wouldn't make it. Yet somehow I heard the news that you're going to work every day. The police need you to make a statement. What do you mean? You killed her. No, I did not. Do you know where I've been all along? At the hospital, by her side after you killed her because of her peanut allergy. You're the one who has a nut allergy. I do, but I'm perfectly fine. She told me that you have a nut allergy. How are you perfectly okay? Both of us got hospitalized for a nut allergy when we were kids. She must have not told you about hers. Then how did she end up drinking the wine that was supposed to kill you? The problem is that you got greedy. You wanted everything I have and couldn't settle for my company. How did she drink it? I have no idea, to be honest. Did you not get wine as well because you're a shareholder? Oh no, I mixed them up. Are you gonna confess, or must I hand you in? There's no case against me. You certain about that, are you? Your sister was the one who forced me into this marriage. I never wanted to run this company, yet you guys wrote a piece slandering me and openly executed a hostile takeover of my company. I'm innocent. That's a lie.
Hi, it's Mom. I have her phone. The police gave it to me a few days ago. I wanted to know how the funeral arrangements are going. As her older brother, I think you should pay for everything.
I'm getting her cremated.
I know she went too far, but she's your sister.
Okay, you can take the body and leave me alone.
How can you be so cruel? She died because of your employee.
Mom, please don't act as if you didn't send her. I went to Kelsey's place and I found all the evidence. Be ready with your statement to the police. You do know that there's a case for attempted murder against me. If it's proven that you came up with the idea, then you'll spend a long time in jail.
I know I'm innocent.
As it turns out, the dead can speak. There was footage of Desmond buying the peanut extract, which later ended up in the wine my sister accidentally drank. There was also a lot of evidence in my sister's apartment, which proved that they were in cohorts to try and kill me. He was charged with her murder and given 12 years, while my mom got 7. It's now 5 years later, and I've decided to retire. My daughter is now running my company. She's a genius, and I taught her everything she needs to know.